Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my January, February, March TBR. For this TBR, I wanted to do like a strong start since it is the beginning of the year. And so I have books that I have interest in reading and nothing I feel like I have to read, well, except one book. Alrighty, so let's get started. So first on my list I have is Dark Rise by C.S. the Cat. I actually already started this book. I'm like on page 60 right now, and so far I am loving it. I'm a bit confused as to what is happening because there's a lot of world building and trying to get to know all these characters. There's already been a lot of chaotic scenes in the first 60 pages. This is the first book I'm reading of 2026, so I already feel like it's a strong start. So this next book isn't really on my TBR, but I'm actually reading it at the same time as Dark Rise, and that is The Lives of Lamora. I started this book last year and I kind of soft DNF'd it, and I slowly picked it back up this year again, and I have a renewed interest in reading this book. Scott Lynch has some of the most witty, clever, smart, sharp, and hilarious writing I have ever read. Like, this type of writing you just don't see nowadays. One of my goals this year with writing, and something I want to stick to long term, is to just slow down with my reading. Not like read a book quickly for the sake of finishing it, but just like take my time and read it slowly. That was me last year, where I was just trying to finish books. I would skim through books and not enjoy it, but now I just want to take my time. The next three books I have were on my previous TBR, starting off with Last Stand of Dead Men, which is book 8 in the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. I do want to continue this series because overall I've enjoyed it. I do like our two main characters, Valkyrie and Skullduggery. I think they make the greatest pair, and it's just hilarious. It has like British humor, which is my favorite type of humor, and also just the supernatural cases that our two characters have to solve and how they have to save the world over and over again. And just the large cast of side characters we have too are very fun to explore. So I've liked the series overall. Also have Final Girls, which was on previous TBR by Riley Sager. Really the author that got me into the thriller genre, because thriller wasn't and still isn't a genre that I have read extensively in. And I think this book has to do with a group of girls called the Final Girls who survived a serial killer's mass murder or something like that. And I found out with Riley Sager books is the less you know, the better. Then I have Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown, and holy crap, this is a heavy book. This is like, what, 660 pages or something. This is the latest installment in the Robert Langdon series, which is a series I've loved since I was young. And I had this book on my TBR last year, but I guess I wasn't ready. But I do feel ready now to read it. And then I have a classic YA fantasy series, and that is called Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. I've actually had these books on my shelves for a while now, like for years, and I just did not have interest in picking it up until now. I think it's time I tackle it. I know a lot of people have read this. This used to be the book back then. It was during a time when YA books about angels were very popular, so I do remember that era of reading. I think this book follows a teenager who meets one of the fallen angels and they fall in love. I'm sure it's something along those lines. Okay, next is a book that I'm reading just to finish off the series, and that is How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories. And this is just a novella, I believe, in the Folk of the Air series. I don't have a lot of high hopes because I believe this novella follows Cardan, who I don't really care about, honestly. One thing I am looking forward to is all the artwork in here. Aside from that, I don't really care, and I just want to read this to finish off that whole book series. The next book I have is Loveless by Alice Oseman. I believe the story follows our main character, Georgia, who is confused about her sexuality and confused as to why she doesn't have like a crush, or why she doesn't have any interest in like kissing and all that kind of stuff. Unlike her friends, who definitely are like kissing and in romantic relationships. But Georgia is somebody who just doesn't feel that. So she comes to realize that she is asexual / aromantic and explores more of her identity. I'm really excited to kind of see what our character, or the journey our character goes through, and how she comes to realize who she is and what she identifies as. One thing I love about Alice Oseman's writing, and her characters especially, is that she allows the characters the freedom to explore their identities in a very safe environment. The friends that our main characters have in a lot of Alice Oseman stories They're very supportive. I just love to see that. I read Radio Silence a couple years ago and fell in love with that book. I thought it was beautifully written and beautifully explored, and that solidified Alice Oseman as an auto-buy author for me. And then I have a book that's been on several TBRs, and I've been saying that I am going to start the series soon. I've been saying that for years now. I have a gut feeling this is the year because now I actually feel ready. That is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, starting off with The Assassin's Blade. I've been saying I'm going to start Throne of Glass for years, and I think I just said it to say it, not because I actually wanted to or cared to start. This year at least, I actually do want to start. This is more of a fantasy-based story than a romance-based story, unlike A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm really excited to read about our character Selena, really excited to see her journey, and just to read something by Sarah J. Maas. Then I have Ballad of Sword and Wine, Volume 1. First, let's take a moment to just admire this cover. This art is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite covers of books that I own. I cannot tell you what this book is about, honestly. I just remember seeing a video on TikTok where someone said, if you like Captive Prince, then you should read this series. And that sold me. This is my first Chinese novel, which is translated in English. I've never read a Chinese novel before, but I do want to broaden my horizons and just try to read more translated books. I do believe that there are some gems out there in the world. Next is another book, which is the first in a series. Oh my gosh, I realized that I have a lot of series that I'm starting in this TBR, and that is My Life. This one was gifted to me by my boyfriend, and that is called Crave by Tracy Wolff. It is absolutely crazy how similar this cover is to the Twilight covers. A lot of people said it's better than Twilight, so I definitely want to see what the hype was about. I have not read a book on vampires in years, guys, years. This is me getting back into vampire books. Last but not least, I have another book that a lot of people have loved, and that is Wild Dark Shore. I don't know what this book is about that much either. I just know it's like a thriller mystery about a woman who washes up ashore and this family that takes her in, and they're trying to figure out who this woman is. And apparently there's like big plot twists that happen in this book. I am excited to see what the hype is about with this book because I've heard nothing but great things. Like everybody on BookTube who's talked about this book have only said amazing things about it and just how much it surprised them. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Alrighty guys, so those are the books on my TBR for January, February, March. If you've read any of them, please let me know what your thoughts were, and please let me know if you liked it or not, and let me know what books you are starting your year off with. Hope you guys are taking care of yourself and take care of each other, and I will see you next time. Bye!